Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back everyone to our course, Basic English Grammar or Word Classes and Phrases. Today we'll be talking about pronouns. Alright, let's start with finding all the pronouns in this very short story. Cinderella had to be home by midnight. She got into her hot rod pumpkin. The horses, which used to be mice, began to move. The carriage went down the street, it went around the corner. Can you find all the pronouns here? Alright, the first one is she, right? And so that is the first pronoun, and that refers to Cinderella. Second one is it, okay, that's the second pronoun we can see. And it refers to the carriage. And so pronoun, as the name implies, pro means in place of or replacement, and nouns are nouns. So pronouns are words that are in place of nouns. Okay, so it functions to be in place of the carriage. She is replacing Cinderella. Okay, as simple as that. Alright, there are several types of pronouns. First one, and the most common one, is personal pronouns. They fall into three categories: subjective pronoun, objective pronoun, possessive pronoun. All the subjective pronouns are pretty much pronouns that appear in the subject position in a sentence. Objective pronouns, on the other hand, appear in the object position, right? And possessive pronouns are pronouns that indicate possessions or ownership. Okay. For example, that Kacha flies, he does so without wings, and so he appearing in the subject position then becomes a subjective pronoun. Okay, that Kacha hit Superman, gotta punch him in the nose, and so him appearing in the object position is an objective pronoun. Okay. The same is true here. Kacha gave him a magical sword, so another objective pronoun, looking at the form, right? He, subjective, him, objective. The difference between the third sentence and the second sentence, this one is indirect object. The direct object is a magical sword, and then in the second sentence, him is the direct object. Okay. And Gatkacha flew with him to Manhattan. In this case, him is the object of the preposition with. And finally, Gatkacha stopped up playing with his hand. So his is possessive because it indicates ownership or belonging. Okay. Alright, exercise 1. I'd like you to identify all pronouns in each sentence and also identify its function. Okay, whether the pronoun you are spotting is subjective or objective or possessive. Okay. Alright, and some notes on personal pronouns. So you can use you to indicate or to refer to someone. For example, you have to be on your guard when you are dealing with that gang of ruffians. They'll beat you up and take your money. You need to be smart and keep your distance. It sounds less formal though. A more formal option is to use one. Like one has to be on one's guard when one is dealing with that gang of ruffians. They'll beat one up and take one's money. One needs to be smart and keep one's distance. Okay. Note that the possessive form one requires an apostrophe, like one's money and one's distance. Okay. All right. The next type is the so-called demonstrative pronouns. Pronouns that demonstrate something. Pronouns that point. Right. For example, if the object that we are referring to is near, then we use this. If the object is quite far, then that. And there's distinction between singular and plural. So this singular, this plural, that singular, and those plural. Okay. There's this nice distinction between pronoun and what seem to be pronoun. So if you compare the first sentence from on the left and this one on the right, we are looking at identical sentences, right? This old house belongs to my uncle. This belongs to my uncle. The difference is this one has a noun, old house. This one is not. So this is a pure pronoun. Why? Because this appears in place of the noun. Let's say an old house. Well, here the noun is present, right? And so this is pretty much an additional word, and that is why this is not a pronoun any longer. So this, in this case, is a determiner. So the principle is, when you see a pronoun accompanied by the noun, like that with funny hat, those with new DVDs and the rest, then they are not pronouns anymore. They are the so-called determiners. Okay, so they serve an entirely different function. All right, exercise. So I'd like you to decide which one is a determiner, which one is a pronoun. Okay, that's quite self-explanatory. All right, indefinite pronouns. So unlike personal pronouns that refer to specific nouns, indefinite pronouns refer to or substitutes for general people, general objects, like all, anybody, each, some, somebody. Okay, it could be singular, like all was spent on big money, all referring to money, or plural, all are accounted for, all refers to countable nouns, more than one soldiers. So that's plural. Okay. Some indefinite pronouns are always singular, like anybody, each, everybody. So basically, whenever you see one of those pronouns, they are always singular. Okay. Like demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns can also turn into determiners. So remember when they are accompanied by the nouns. So let's look at the first pair of the sentences. I'll accept any books you want to get rid of, right? I'll accept any you want to get rid of. Which one do you think is the pure or real pronoun? Second one, right? This one. So any is replacing a noun, perhaps books in this case. But in the first one, I'll accept any books you want to get rid of. So the noun is accompanying this similar-looking pronoun, and this is not a pronoun anymore. Any in this case is a determiner. Okay. The same is true with the second pair. Do you have enough money? There is this noun accompanying enough, and so enough is no longer a pronoun but a determiner. This one is a real pronoun. Okay. All right. Next one is the so-called relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are used to relate to clauses, to connect to clauses, to link to clauses. Okay. So, for example, John is my best friend. John moved to Miami. So we have two exactly similar or same noun, John, right? So we can use relative pronoun to replace that. John, who in this case is replacing John. John, who moved to Miami, is my best friend, right? So by this relative pronoun, then we now have a complex sentence where two clauses in the previous examples are now one sentence. Okay, one sentence consisting of two clauses. Okay, same is true of this one. I actually met a man that stole $1 million, and so we see a relative pronoun that is referring to a man, right? And you can tell there are two clauses here. I actually met a man stole $1 million. So that connects this clause with this clause. Okay. All right. Another example: I found an old necklace which had once belonged to a princess, which is the relative pronoun connecting this clause, right, with that clause. And another example, the old man to whom we sent a cup of bajigur gave a magnificent Pencak Silat performance. Okay, so whom refers to an old man, and it connects two clauses. And last one is whose. Okay, connecting son studying to be a doctor and we will see it like this. All right. Reflexive pronouns are like personal pronouns. The difference is reflexive pronouns refer back to the subject. Okay. In the same sentence. So, for example, I bought her a new sweater. That's an objective pronoun, right? But in the second example, I bought myself a new sweater. So this refers back to the subject. Okay. Does he ever doubt me? That's objective pronoun. Does he ever doubt himself? So that's a reflexive pronoun, right? Because it reflects back to the subject. Okay. All right. Pronouns that look exactly like a reflexive but they're not are called intensive, right? So they have different function. They tend to follow a noun or pronoun and provide some emphasis. For example, I myself don't believe he committed a crime. The real distinction between intensive pronouns and reflexive pronouns, intensive pronouns are optional in a sentence, which means that you can always remove that if you don't need it. So if we kick this out, I don't believe he committed the crime. That's a perfectly grammatical sentence. Okay. Miss Brown herself waited in the rain for a train to arrive. If you want to prove whether it is intensive or reflexive, then let's remove it. Miss Brown waited in the rain for the train to arrive. So that's intensive one because it's optional. Okay. All right. Exercise 2, I'd like you to decide which pronoun is reflexive and which pronoun is intensive. The next one is the so-called reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal, as the name implies, requires some mutual relationship, right? One another and each other are the two pronouns that fall in this category. So, for example, my wife loves me. Okay, so that's one direction. I love my wife. That's another direction. So we want to combine these two sentences into one, where the verbs are identical, right? Love. So we have my wife and I love each other, or my wife and I love one another. Okay. And the last one is the so-called interrogative pronouns. As the name implies, interrogative pronouns are pronouns that are used in interrogative sentences, like who, which, or what. Okay. So they, of course, ask who is asking about a person, what's asking about, a thing, or which is also asking about a thing. No choice. Or the stake. So in this case, the interrogative pronoun is who. Okay. And then which should I choose? Which is the interrogative pronoun replacing the object. What did you buy? What is another interrogative pronoun replacing an object. Okay. Exercise 4, I'd like you to complete the sentences using the specified or a certain type of pronoun. Like I want to see her, but objective pronoun is needed, and so a possible answer is I want to see her, but she doesn't want to see me. So we have an objective pronoun here. Okay. The rest is yours. Alright, souvenir. So this something that you have to do at home for a whole week. So I'd like you to identify all the pronouns in this short text and also identify their function. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, guys, and we'll see you soon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.